Makaṇatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschatadesatarini Vanchakalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Sri Sri Harinama Sankirtan Yajna ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining. So today I will be starting this most beautiful chapter, most awaited chapter, the birth of Lord Krishna. So we have been discussing how the Lord came in the womb of Mother Devaki, and then all devatas, they came together, including Brahma and Shiva, to offer their heartfelt prayers in a matter of gratitude, in a matter of that reverence. And then they were saying that, oh Lord, you have appeared for your own pleasure. And in this chapter, we'll be discussing the third chapter, how there are so many auspicious signs that come upon, with the arrival of Lord Krishna in this material world. And then we see that how Vasudeva glorifies Lord Krishna. Once again, the Devaki, sea praise to Lord Krishna. Then, of course, Lord instructs Vasudeva once again to carry him to Gokul. So yes, this is a very beautiful chapter where we can really understand the appearance of Lord. Yes, Lord ascends from the spiritual world to the material world, so that we can ascend from our material world to the spiritual world. He really gives us a glimpses of the spiritual world, so that we can really be more attracted to the glories and the pastimes, and really develop that loving attachment to the Supreme Lord. Like at this point of time, because of our conditioning, we don't have that attachment, we don't have that attraction, we don't have that attention, for these transcendental sweet names and pastimes of the Lord. And then he gives us a trailer, he gives us a just a glimpses, like especially in the material world, just like people saw the trailers of the movies. Once you go to malls, they give you a something in a very discount, so that okay, you test it, and then once you like it, then you take it. But here, Lord is giving himself. Can we really imagine that the Supreme Lord Krishna, he is the Supreme Father. Because of the love of his devotees, he becomes a child. Becoming a child is not easy. That's why we were discussing some time back, like how a child becomes so innocent, without any not able to share emotions. Of course, and Lord Krishna is different. We'll be hearing that how Lord Krishna appeared in Chaturbhuja form, and the Kaustuba, and so much of hair, and in a smiling way, unlike all of us, where once we appear, we go through pain, not only as a child but also a mother. That's why it is called labor pain. Like in this material world, the birth is not considered a labor pleasure. Yes, we come here because of our karmic reactions, but Lord comes, so that we get start developing attraction for him. Prabhupada gives this example. Sometimes the president or prime minister, they go to the jail, to sour, some clemency, to sour, some to pardon, and that okay, why you are suffering, come back to this normal world, purify yourself. But then, like one devotee was giving example. Once, one of our ex-prime minister, he went to a kind of a mental hospital in Agra, and once he entered, right, like everybody was really started tormenting and torturing him. Oh, who are you? Why you have come here? And so on. And then, this ex-prime minister, he brought everybody together, in a big hall, and said, I am the Prime Minister of India. And then one of them loudly said, yes, yes, we are also saying, once we came to this hospital, we are the Prime Minister of India. Over a period of time, we forgotten. Yeah, so what we mean to say is that we try to equal ourselves, with the Lord. And now we say that, okay, I am Indian, Modi ji also Indian, and Modi is a Prime Minister, I am also Prime Minister. They say that, okay, the Lord is Sachidananda, I am Sachidananda. Yes, I am also the Lord. So we cannot equate ourselves with the Lord, or we cannot bring Lord to our level. So it's a very, very important to understand this, and that's why Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, right, 4th chapter, 10th verse. Janma karma chame tam evam yaveti tattvata tiktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sarjuna. So he's saying that how janma and karma of understanding of the Lord is not easy, but then who understands it in tattvataha, in truth, and then he comes back to me. So all of us are fortunate, at least to trying to understand from the Shastra Chakshu, from the eyes of our acharyas, because by understanding this Janma pastime, of course, Lord's each of the pastimes are transcendental, each of the pastimes are transcendental, and we're just, our acharyas are trying, giving us a window to that spiritual world, through these pastimes, right? And yes, so that we can really understand this beautiful transcendental aspect of Lord's appearance, because otherwise, we are always covered, with these 3 words: I, me, and mine, aham, mama. Like that's kind of our only thinking, and how it is related. That's why even apart from Sanatana Dharma, right, like in any other religion, they consider God, to like as a self-centric. Or God means he supplies bread to me, or God means he punishes me, right? God is related to me, right? Either giving me or punishing me. But then, like especially in our Sanatana, especially in Vaishnava Dharma, right, we understand that how we are just insignificant. We are insignificant, and how Lord is Bhivu, and we are just Anu. And like our only purpose, right, should be, what should be our only purpose? And how can we purify our art, and how we can really glorify the Lord? Those are the 2 purposes we should have in our life. Everything else just a superfluous. Those are anarthas. And like superfluous. These are not necessary. Yes, like just like in a main course, right? You have some achar, some papad, and some sabji, and some khatta and things like that. And then you have some main course, either chapati or roti or chawal or biryani, right? But then what exactly we are doing, right? We are putting like the spirituality as like achar, right? But then through this these activities and the pastimes of the Lord, we get a real knowledge that how our purpose is to really understand Krishna, to understand this appearance and pastimes of Krishna, and so that we can get attached to Krishna, so that we get attracted to Krishna. That should be our purpose. And that's why Lord comes also to reawaken these 2 things in our heart. And we see, right, it's a beautiful pastime, like how Lord comes Mathura, right, with Akrura. Once he enters, now of course Akrura would be calling the Lord that, oh, Krishna and Balram, please come and have prasadam at our house. And Krishna and Balram said, no, you don't worry, right? We just want to do roam around Mathura and then we'll come back. And then, both of them were going around, and different residents of Mathura, they, were seeing the Lord in different ways, right? Like somebody was seeing the Lord as that, oh, Lord is so, beautiful. Somebody was seeing the Lord as that, oh, he has come as a death. Mallanam asanirunam naravara srinam smara murtinam Gopanam swajana satam sitibhujam sastha swapitra shisu Mrityu bhajapate virada vidusam tattvam param yoginam Brusninam paradevate viditarangam gata sakrajah. So here, Sukadeva Goswami is saying that, like how, like various groups, they saw the Lord in a different ways. Some less wrestlers, Mallanam, they saw Krishna as a, as a death, like as a lightning bolt, And some like men of Mathura saw him as the best of males, like Naravara, and Strinam. Like the women saw Lord Krishna as a Cupid, and the Gopanam Swajana, all the Gopas saw Krishna as a relative, and Asatam Kshiti Bhujam Sasta, like Asatam, the impious persons, they saw the Lord as a chastiser, and so Pitara Sisu, like the elders, saw Lord Krishna as a child, and Mrityu Bhajapate, like Bhajapate is right, like the king of the Bhojas, right? They saw Lord Krishna as a death, and Virad Avidusam, right? Like how all the yogis, they were seeing the Virat, the universal form of the Lord. Tattvam Parama Yogina, and like the yogis, they were also seeing that Lord as as a Parama Yogina, and he's the supreme absolute truth, and they were knowing the Lord as in Tattvam. And Brusni Nam Paradevata, and all the Brusnis, they were seeing the Lord Krishna as a worshipable deity, right? And as Lord was Krishna and Balram, they were passing through, of course they come across that washerman, and they asked that, okay, like, yes, we are like the cowherd boys, and of course now Kamsa has called, we are going to this palace, would like to have also this beautiful dresses for us, right? Like, everybody comes, right, and offers, all the beautiful things, because everything belongs to the Lord. He's a supreme proprietor, he's a controller, he's an enjoyer, and Lord, he himself is coming and asking that, please give me. And what is the reaction of that washerman? No, this is meant for my king, who is Kamsa. And then Lord realized that, okay, you still have that aham and mama, you don't know who is the controller. Okay, Lord did his first operation, while he entered Mathura, right? And then, like, as he was passing through, he came across a tailor, and the tailor, he so gratefully, so graciously, he offered beautiful clothes, the best of the clothes, to the Lord Krishna and Balaram. And then, as Lord was passing through, they came across this florist called Sudama, and he offered beautiful prayers to the Lord. Oh Lord, my aspiration is that, okay, I always want to serve you, right, with these flowers and birth after birth. I don't want anything else. And Lord was so pleased. So, like, there are so many wonderful pastimes are there, how a devotee right, awakens and relates to the Lord. But a person like who sees the Lord as that, okay, just like any other person, or like, okay, you don't exist, and Lord also reciprocates with them accordingly. The way you approach, I will reciprocate you accordingly. So if we are approaching the Lord and that bhoga bhav, right, then yes, we'll be eternally, conditioned and rotting in this material world. But then Lord, inspires us, for that aspiration, right? What should be the aspiration? Through the seva bhav, that yes, we are not here to enjoy, right? If you are really asking for some enjoyment of X, we'll get 2X of suffering. So don't think that, right, we can enjoy here. There are two places of enjoyment, there are, right, like the people who are in the spiritual world, like Vaikuntha, Golok, Vrindavan, right? Or those who are really imagining themselves in the mind, only, they really enjoy, right? But if you're in this material world, as long as we are, this is a trigger for us, so that yes, this is not the right place for us. And the devotees shows that, how by cultivating a devotional service to the Supreme Lord, right, even we can make this current place also as a spiritual world. We can also develop that bhakti bhav. Sometimes we see that, okay, no, like we don't want to enjoy. Like after coming to Krishna consciousness, we said, no, like I have started developing, bhakti bhav, I have started developing seva bhav. But then we can ask ourselves, that have we forgotten our enjoyment propensity, in terms of controlling others, in terms of putting our opinion above all others. We think that no, whatever I am saying is the best, whatever I am doing is the best, whatever I feel is the best. Like we always put our opinion as the foremost than anybody else. Then we might say, by hearing that, okay, that we should be in the seva bhav, but internally, definitely we have not forgotten our bhoga bhav. So yes, we have a long way to go. That's why, Srila Prabhupada, always used to say, like, the materialistic, even the scientists, as rascals. Prabhupada used to have, this morning walk with his disciples, and all the disciples, they used to have nice conversations. That like the scientists saying like this, and then Prabhupada says, oh, rascal, I'll kick him in the boot. And then next, one more disciple will talk about, oh, Prabhupada, the scientists have done that, that rascal, he doesn't know anything, then another disciple will say something, oh, that rascal, then, one devotee got, like, of course, everybody is playing roles, right? And one devotee said to Prabhupada, why are you saying us rascals? Prabhupada said, because I love you. Because you don't know that you are suffering. Because you don't know what is the purpose of your life. And you are just wasting it. And I have come here to make you realize, make you awaken that real purpose of life is to love Krishna. And understand the beautiful pastimes of Krishna, and to let us know that how Krishna's even appearance is so charming, so beautiful, and we'll be reading that how everybody, all the objects, they come forward to serve Lord Krishna. They come forward to please Lord Krishna. That should be the only objective, right? And now, like with that short introduction, let's see how everybody is now coming forward to please Lord Krishna. So, okay, maybe we can read from this 10th canto, 3rd chapter. Okay, maybe we can go directly to the office. There are very beautiful slokas are there. But maybe paucity of time will not go. So anybody would like to read? Maybe it's a time that you also get a glimpse of reading Srimad Bhagavatam, the beautiful translations.
Prabhuji, can I read?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Thereafter, at the auspicious time for the appearance of the Lord, The entire universe was surcharged with all the qualities of goodness, beauty, and peace. The constellation Rohini appeared, as did the stars like Aswini. The sun, the moon, and the other stars and planets were very peaceful. All directions appeared extremely pleasing, and the beautiful stars twinkled in the cloudless sky, decorated with towns, villages, mines, and pasturing grounds. The earth seemed all auspicious. The river flowed with clear water, and the lakes and vast reservoirs full of lilies and lotuses were extraordinarily beautiful. In the trees and green plants full of flowers and leaves, pleasing to the eyes, birds like cuckoos and swarms of bees began chanting with sweet voices for the sake of demigods. A pure breeze began to blow, pleasing the sense of touch and bearing the aroma of flowers. And when the Brahmanas engaging in ritualistic ceremonies ignited with their fires according to Vedic principles, the fires burned steadily, undisturbed by the breeze. Thus, when the birthless Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was about to appear, when the saints and the Brahmanas who had always been disturbed by demons like Kamsa and his men felt peace within the core of their hearts, and kettle drums simultaneously vibrated from the upper planetary system.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna Prabhu.
Very good. So here, like Sukadeva Goswami is starting this chapter, Atha Sarva Gunopeta, all the beautiful qualities, got manifested, and everything, Kala Parama Sovana, everything became so beautiful. Like it was the month of August, September. Usually it's a rainy season, and where it is cloudy or it's like muddy, and it's a dark time, right? And how can it happen that like all the good qualities, all the auspiciousness, all of them that came together, and during that time there is a constellation of Rohini, and at that time what is also happening, we say Prasedu Goganam Nirmala Udo Gunadam, like in the dark cloud, there is also so many beautiful stars, and Mahi Mangala Bhuvista Pura Grama Prasakara, like even this place, everybody becomes so jubilant, and Nadya Prasanna Salila, like in the rainy season, you find the waters in the river or the lakes really, dirty, polluted, but that time everything becomes so beautiful. And usually, we hear that like lotuses, they don't blossom in the night, they blossom during the daytime. How? During the midnight, right? Even the lotuses are also blossoming, and all the fragrances are really coming out of this lotuses flowers, right? And all the birds and everybody, they had started chirping and singing their beautiful songs, right? And at that point of time, right, even like all the brahmanas, right, because we know that because of the atrocities of Kamsa, they had forgotten to, or they were not able to perform the fire sacrifices. But now, the appearance of the Lord, once again, all the Dvijas, they have started, fire sacrifice with the blazing fires, just like in Treta Yuga, right? And then also like all the yogis, their mind becomes so peaceful, they become so blissful, right? Though till a while back, they were so disturbed by Kamsa. For what? Ahajane, with the birth of the person who is Ajanma. So once again, the contradictory, right? Like when you're talking about birth of Lord Krishna, here, like Sukadeva Goswami, he's saying he is Ajanma. He does not have a beginning or he doesn't have an end. And this is the Lord, that once he is appearing, and how all this, objects and everybody is really coming to create that auspiciousness. And that's why, wherever there is a Lord Krishna, there is a full auspiciousness. There is no muchi, there is a complete suchi. And that's why we always say, Om Apavitra Pavitra va Sarvam Vastagato Piva. Yes, Maret Pundari Kaksha Sa Bhaya Bhyantara Suchi. So whenever, right, and wherever, right, we just chant the name of Lord Pundarikaksha, Lord Hari, that this place become transformed from Muchi to Suchi. So yes, Lord Krishna and his holy name are not different. And we can also bring that auspiciousness everywhere and every time, right? It doesn't really matter. It's a which season, or it's a day or night, or right, which Kali Yuga, right, in the peak of the COVID, or or whatever situation it could be. It doesn't really matter, right? Once you take the name of Lord Hari, right, we can really bring that auspiciousness in our life as well. And so the beautiful purport, given by Srila Prabhupada. So, but anyway, let's move ahead. So, and the next, anybody would like to read the next 3 verses, 5, because 6, 7. Yes, please.
The Kinnars and the Gandharvas began to sing auspicious songs. The Siddhas and the Karnas offered auspicious prayers, and the Vidyadharis, along with the Apsaras, began to dance in the jubilation. Hare Krishna.
Yes, please continue 7 and 8, where we'll hear about the appearance of Lord Krishna.
God and the great stately person showered flowers in a joyous mood and very mildly thundered. Then the Supreme Personality, situated in the core of everyone's heart, appeared from the heart of Devaki in the dense darkness of night, like the full moon rising on the eastern horizon, because Devaki was of the same category as Sri Krishna.
So here, yes, we'll go to the purport later. So here, what is happening? We saw that how the atmosphere, the environment, became so auspicious, and not only that, even in the higher planetary systems as well, like all the Gandharvas, Siddhas, Charanas, they started offering prayers. They started, singing and dancing, along with Apsaras. So everywhere, there is jubilation, there is a bliss, there's a muda. They were so happy, and at that time, what is happening? Momuchu Munaya Deva Su Manamsi Mudanvita. Right? Yes, all the munis, all the devatas, right? Their heart really become, so beautiful, so blissful. Muda Anvita, right? And at that point of time, like the clouds, they were also thinking, we also want to serve Lord Krishna. We also wanted to express our gratitude and our love for Krishna. And then they were saying, Mandam Mandam Jaladhara Jagrajur Anusagaram. Right? Is it that the natural quality of a cloud is what? Jaladhara is what? Like big, thunderous, noise, right? But here, how the clouds, they were really, sharing their expression of joy, not with a thunderous cloud, mandam mandam, right? With very mildly, very sweetly, ja garjur anusagaram, following, the waves of the ocean, as the waves of the, and that, like, the ocean was also the most blissful. Why ocean was the most blissful? Anybody can guess? Because Lord appeared in Chandra Vamsa, and it is said that Chandra appeared, from the ocean, and because of that, like, in my Vamsa, like, from me, right, someone really connected to this Vamsa, Chandra Vamsa, right? Ocean was really dancing with beautiful waves, and the cloud was thinking that no, I'll not disturb right? The mood of all these Gandharvas, Charanas, and the oceans. And I will also go in that same orchestra and I will follow this Anu Sagaram, right? This is very important qualities, right, of a devotee once again. That, just in the mood of ecstasy, we don't want to disturb others' devotion. Right? Like, yes, like sometimes, in the matter of our ecstasy, like, okay, it doesn't really matter whatever others feel or whatever others do, we just want to barge in, and we do really, okay, I want to do my service. But then, we can really learn a lot, how there is an interdependency, how, a devotee wants to serve in the association, and also following the mood of the devotees there, right? Even a cloud, right? Like how the cloud is also reciprocating with manda jaladhara, right? How a cloud also, whenever there is a need, changes the mood, so that to follow, to please, the Lord and all the devotees there. And Nisite Tama Advute Jayamana Janardana, right? Like, you see, there are around 8 verses, right? Describes very beautifully, right, how in the this earthly planet, in the higher planetary system, and in the like everywhere, right? Everywhere there is so much of auspiciousness, there is so much blissful, there is so much of muda, there is so much of joyfulness. And at that point of time, Devakya Devarupinyam, right? Like, Devaki, who is non-different than, Devarupina, as a Satchidananda Vigraha Rupa or Vishnu Rupyana, right? And this Lord Vishnu, who is the Sarva Guhyagata, who is, all pervading everywhere. And at that time, Avirasid Yatha Pracham Disindur Eva Puskaraha. At that time, Lord appeared. Avirasid means appeared. How he appeared? Just like, the moon appears in the eastern, horizon. Okay. Maybe we should read the purport. Beautiful purport Prabhupada has given in this. Okay, I'll just read the verse, and maybe some of you can read the purport as well. As stated in Brahma Samhita 5.37. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Prativavitave Taviryo Eva Nijarupataya Kalabhi Goloka Eva Nivasati Akhilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Anybody would like to read? Maybe 2 paragraphs each.
May I?
Yes.
From here, the verse indicates.
The verse indicates that Krishna and his entourage.
The verse indicates that Krishna is entourage of the same spiritual potency. Krishna's father, his mother, his friends are the cow boys, and the cows all are expansion of Krishna, as well as will be explained in the Brahma Vimohana Leela. When Krishna's associate to test his supremacy of Lord Krishna, the Lord extended himself again in the forms of many cowherd boys. All of whom, as Brahma saw, were Vishnu is. Devaki is also an expansion of Krishna, and therefore this verse says that Devakiyam Deva Rupayam Vishnu Sarva Guna.
Anybody else would like to continue?
May I? At the time of the Lord's appearance, the great sages and the demigods being pleased began to show flowers at the seashore. There was the sound of mild waves, and above the sea there were clouds in the sky which began to thunder very easily. When things were adjusted like this, Lord Vishnu, who is residing within the heart of every living entity, appeared in the darkness of the night as the Supreme Personality of Godhead before Devi, who appeared as one of the demigoddesses The appearance of Lord Krishna at that time could be compared to the rising of the full moon in the sky on the eastern horizon. Krishna appeared on
Hare Krishna, Mataji, like voice is breaking. Maybe the internet is not okay. Anybody else would like to read?
Nobody's reading, then I will read.
Anybody else?
If nobody's reading, then I will read.
May I, Prabhuji?
Okay. Okay. Or
The objection may be raised that since the Lord Krishna appeared on the 8th day of the waning moon, there could be no rising of the full moon. In answer to this, it may be said that Lord Krishna appeared in the dynasty which is in the hierarchy of the moon. Therefore, although the moon was incomplete on that night, because of the Lord's appearance in the dynasty where the moon is himself the original person, the moon was in an overjoyous condition. So by the grace of Krishna, he could appear as full moon. To welcome the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the waning moon became a full moon jubilant.
Hare Krishna.
Instead,
So
Hare
here,
Krishna.
right, once again, Prabhupada is asking the question and answering here. Like Krishna appeared in which tithi?
Ashtami Tithi.
Ashtami. And in Ashtami tithi, how like moon appears as a full moon? Can it happen?
No. Ashtami Tithi doesn't.
Yes, right. And there is a pastime, it is mentioned that like Ashtami and Navami, they were considered not so auspicious, right? And Lord said that yes, I'll make you auspicious, and that's why Lord Krishna appeared on Ashtami and Lord Ram appeared on Navami, right? But here we see that how on the Ashtami Tithi there is a full moon. How it is, why? Because Lord Krishna appeared in the dynasty, which is the Chandra Vamsa or Soma Vamsa. And how can really, moon would not come with that full joyous, right? And so in a blissful way that, like Lord has appeared, finally in my Vamsa, and in that joyous, overjoyous condition, right? He appeared in a full moon. Okay. Okay, still, yes, Hema Mataji or anybody else?
Yeah. Instead of, shall I? Okay.
Yes.
Instead of Deva Rupriyam, some text of Srimad Bhagavatam clearly says Vishnu Rupriyam. In either case, the meaning is that Devaki has the same spiritual form as the Lord. The Lord is Sachitananda Vigraha. And Devaki is also Sachitananda Vigraha. Therefore, no one can find any fault in the way the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sachitananda Vigraha, appeared from the womb of Devaki. Those who are not in the full knowledge that the appearance and disappearance of the Lord are transcendental, Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam, or sometimes surprised that the Supreme Personality of Godhead can take birth like an ordinary child. Actually, however, the Lord's birth is never ordinary. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is already situated within the core of everyone's heart as Antaryami, the super soul. Thus, because he was present in full potency in Devaki's heart, he was also able to appear outside her body. One of the 12 great persons.
Anybody else would like to read the last paragraph?
Yeah, one of the 12 great personalities is Bhishma Deva.
Swayambhu Narada Sambhu Kumara Kapila Manu Prahlada Janaka Bhisma Balir Bhaya Sakhi Vayam. These are the 12 Mahajanas.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu, for reading. 1.9.4. Bhishma, a great personality to be followed by every devotee, says that the Supreme Personality Godhead is situated in core of everyone's heart, just as the sun may be on everyone's head. We although the sun may be on the heads of the millions of people, this does not mean that the sun is
Variously situated.
Sorry, you can leave it over. Then I'm not able to. Yeah, the sun is variously situated. Similarly, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead has inconceivable potencies, it can be within everyone's heart and yet not be situated not be situated variously. Ivam
Anupasthitaha.
anupasthitaha.
So here, just to pause here, Prabhupada brings this analogy that how Lord Vishnu is all pervading. He gives this example of sun. Right? Sun is one, right? But then, like millions and billions of people, they say, "Oh, sun is on top of my head." Right? Everywhere, sun is there. Similarly, Lord is there. It's the supreme, right? But then, how He is also pervading in everybody's heart. Yes, this Lord was within the heart of Devaki. He also appeared as her child, outside. So according to the Vishnu Purana, like as quoted in Vaishnava Tosan, the Lord appeared like the sun. It's called Anugraha Saya. Right? And Brahma Samhita, it comes from the Lord is situated even within the atom. Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham. And He's appeared, in the smallest atoms. He's there. And He's appeared in the universe, Andantara, right? And also Paramanu, in the atom also. And He's situated in Mathura, He's in Vaikuntha, and He's in the core of everybody's heart. Therefore, one should clearly understand that He did not live like an ordinary child in the womb, in the heart, or in the womb of Devaki. Nor did He appear like an ordinary human child. Although He seemed to do so in order to bewilder asuras like Kamsa, the asuras wrongly think that Krishna took birth like an ordinary child and passed away from this world like an ordinary man. Such asuri conceptions are rejected by persons in knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ajo pisan apyayatma putanam ishwara pisan. Bhagavad Gita 4.7, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is Aja, He's unborn, and He's the supreme controller of everything. Nonetheless, He appeared as a child of Devaki. This verse describes the inconceivable potency of the Lord, who appeared like the full moon. Understanding the special significance of the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one should never regard Him as having taken birth like an ordinary child. Hare Krishna. So here, in this couple of verses, what Sudhir Goswami, has really beautifully narrated how there are so beautiful auspicious signs appeared as Krishna is about to appear, and then how Lord, who is all pervading, who was in the womb of Mother Devaki, He also appeared outside. And we cannot really equate the appearance of the Lord just to say birth of any ordinary child. Yes, it is inconceivable for us to understand. But as we discussed, we have to see, from the Shastra Chakshu, and that's why Prabhupada quotes, these 12 Mahajanas. He quotes, Bhisma, and he quotes, right, all our Goswamis. That here we are not really talking about an ordinary child where there is automatically, there is a Rohini constellation formation, there is automatically seasonal change, or the appearance of the moon, or this manda jadhara, the clouds are so beautifully, they are singing, Gandharva Charana Siddhas, they are singing and dancing. All the yogis, they are performing, their heart is so blissful. Once again, all the Brahmanas, they have started doing fire sacrifices, right? Just like how they got all that blissfulness, how they really get so much of strength and confidence in their heart. It is the appearance of Lord Krishna. Right? Yes, whatever the difficult darkness and a situation it could be, right? Or we might be thinking that no, it is not possible, that we cannot practice our Krishna consciousness in this situation, right? Like we can really get the inspiration from this pastime that yes, there is not any moment where Lord Krishna cannot appear, right? And yes, like what we have to really pray to the Lord, like as prayed by the Devatas or as prayed by Mother Devaki and Vasudeva, right, with their prayer, Lord manifests himself. And once he manifests himself, all the inauspicious goes away and all the auspiciousness really brought in. And in the next verse, very beautifully, right? And Vasudeva sees Lord Krishna is not an ordinary boy. He's starting, Sukadeva Goswami is really bringing it out, with that word adbhutam. Don't get bewildered that he's in an ordinary child. He's a wonderful boy. Adbhutam balakam avambuja kshanam chaturbhujam sankha gadadi udayudham srivatsalaksmam galasobhikostuvam pitambaram sandrapayodi sobhagam maharavaidurya kirita kundala tisipari swakta sahasra kuntalam udama kanchi angada kanakadibhi Virochamanam Vasudeva Iksatam. So, how Vasudeva saw Lord Krishna? Yes, anybody would like to read? Who have not yet read so far? Okay. Would like to read? Anybody? Okay. So, here, what Vasudeva is saying, Lord Krishna is an adbhuta, this newborn child, who had very wonderful lotus-like eyes, and like, he's putting it very clearly, ambuja akshanam, like that's why Lord is called ambuja aksha, like kamalaksha, pankajaksha, right? His eyes like in the lotus flower, and he's also called, he's appearing in chaturbhujam, right? To kind of, remove any iota of misconceptions, just like in an ordinary boy. No, he's not ordinary. He has appeared as chaturbhujam. And in the chaturbhujam, what was there? Sankha, gadadi, udayudham, like different, weapons, in his hand, right? And then sankha lakshanam, he is decorated with that, that Srivacha, which is, there only in the Lord's heart. And Gologovi Kostuvam, he had the Kostuva gem, Kostuva necklace in his neck. Right, and he was wearing pitambaram. He was wearing this yellow clothes. Sandra payanda sobhugam, like he was, appearing as blackish cloud. Blackish cloud, right? Like one time, Srila Prabhupada was there in Africa, right? And Prabhupada, was talking about how Lord is Asita Ambuda Sundarangam. He's black like cloud. And then Africa, the local people, they were so happy. Oh, Krishna is, black like us. And Prabhupada corrected them. No, it's not like you. Right? Krishna's beauty cannot be comparable with anything else, in this material world. His beauty charms even the Madana Mohana, like Madana. That's why he's called Madana Mohana. Right. So here, and how like in Kirita Kundala, right? Like he's also having like all the Kirita Kundala, like all the brilliant belt and the armband and the armor and the bracelets and everything, right? Or the Kuntala, right? Like with this beautiful hair, right? Like especially in a newly grown up child, right? You don't see long hairs, right? And here, Sudhir Goswami is saying that how Vasudeva saw that, like, he is Vista Parivusta Sahasra Kuntalam. He's brilliantly illuminated the fully grown hair. Srila Prabhupada is translating, fully grown hair. Right? And Virochamanam Vasudeva Aiksata. This is how Vasudeva saw Lord Krishna. So, Prabhupada saying that to support the word adbhutam, meaning wonderful, the decorations and opulences of the newly born child are fully described as confirmed in Brahma Samhita 5.7. Varhavatam samasitam boda sundarangam. The hue of Lord's beautiful form resembles the blackish color of dense cloud. Asita means blackish, ambuda means cloud. It is clear from the word Chaturbhujam that Krishna first appeared with 4 hands as Lord Vishnu. No ordinary child in human society has ever been born with 4 hands. And when a child is born with fully grown hair, the descent of Lord, therefore, is completely distinct from the birth of an ordinary child. The Vaidurya gem, who sometimes appears bluish, sometimes yellow, sometimes red, is available at Vaikuntha. The Lord's helmet and earrings were decorated with this particular gem. Right. So, like here, right, our acharyas and Srila Prabhupada, right, they wanted to emphasize it again and again, right? That how a Lord is the Lord of the universe. Lord, like appearance is not like in an ordinary, appearance, right? They wanted to bring that very clearly with so many, beautiful points, so many beautiful reasons that how there should not, because as we really progress, we really, go through this, Makhanchur pastime, some amusing pastimes, right? Or people directly go to this, this Panchadhyaya and so on. But before that, right, you see how Lord is amazing, right? That's why one devotee was saying that, before going to the amusing pastimes of the Lord, you have to understand the amazing appearance of the Lord. Right? So unless we understand this, that's why we have been focusing so much in detail and going verse by verse and word by word and line by line to make us realize that, to emphasize that here we are not talking about any ordinary child or ordinary person, or some historical person or some mythical person. No, he's Adbhutam, he's wonderful, person, that we are talking about. Hare Krishna. That was the kind of just a glimpse of the Lord's appearance. Then of course we'll be going in detail how Vasudeva, his eyes were struck with wonder and how he felt so happy, right? And he also gives so many reasons, with Prabhupada, that how Lord is so wonderful. That's why we call it a wonderful Krishna. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments from anyone?
Missed the session last Thursday, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
I said we missed the session last time. So happy to see you back. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it is our pleasure as well, to share something, because as we read the 10.1 point, right? Like the 4, I guess, right? Vasudeva Kathāmṛtam Pusam Trina Panatehi Bhaktaram Prachakam Srosram Salilam Yathapada, right? Bhaktaram, the most benefited person during any satsang is a Bhakta. Because with that, we try to go a little deeper into this aspect of Krishna consciousness. And yes, the byproduct is that, yeah, whoever comes in the association, they also get benefited. But we have to remind ourselves again and again that, like the Srimad Bhagavatam, and especially reading in the association of the devotees is the blessed thing, is the most divine fortune, right? So we should not really miss, wherever and whenever there is an opportunity, to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. It is a fortune, and we should be really grateful to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, especially Lord Krishna's pastime. That's where, especially, once we hear that, as we said, yes, we develop that attraction, we develop that attachment. And after just hearing this 8 verses, before the appearance of Lord Krishna, how there are so many contradictory, can our heart will not get melted that yes, Lord can do anything, right? Lord can bring all auspiciousness in the most inauspicious moment, most inauspicious place, in inauspicious circumstances, right? Why we should be really worried about anything else in this material world? Why don't we really bring Lord Krishna into our heart? That should be our firm determination. That should be our firm learning, hearing this. And that's why, Prabhupada says again and again, yes, please take shelter of, Srimad Bhagavatam and really bring all auspiciousness into your heart. And I'm very happy to see Gita Mataji. She was not well. She
Still in the hospital, Prabhuji,
still
waiting for discharge.
Hare Krishna. This is the enthusiasm of devotees. Right? She's still in the hospital, about to get discharged. She was in ICU, but she has so much of taste in hearing Krishna Katha. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Inspiring.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So Prabhuji, reading the Srimad Bhagavatam alone at home, we are asked to, we try to read Bhagavad Gita, we finish Bhagavad Gita and then go to Bhagavatam and read it alone, slok by slok. So is that not?
Yes, like we hear that. Jao Bhagavata pada Vaishnavera sthane kanta asaya karo Chaitanya charane. Yes, so we should take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We should take shelter of Mahaprabhu's associates. And we should hear Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of the devotees. But for us, right, yes, we should aspire, we should endeavor, right, whenever there is a satsang, we should hear in that satsang Bhagavat. But if it is not possible, then we hear with Srila Prabhupada, we hear from Srila Prabhupada. How? By reading Prabhupada's purports, or by hearing from Prabhupada through his classes. So yes, all right. It's better that, okay, if we can get some physical association of devotees. If not, then virtual association. If not, just take Prabhupada's books. Hear from Prabhupada.
Prabhuji, why don't you start Bhagavatam also simultaneously?
Yes, we are reading Bhagavatam from 10th canto.
No, this is not from the first beginning. That is from the first canto.
Beginning. Okay, yes, that should be the ideal process, right? Yes, we should read from Srimad Bhagavatam. First canto.
Yes, Prabhuji, because it is a little bit difficult to understand certain things. Only from devotees like you people, we have to understand, because it's I read and then I saw it is quite difficult to understand things.
Yes, yes, you're right, Mataji, you're right. And definitely we'll also make an endeavor with all of your inspiration, right? We'll also make an endeavor to start, to read together. But then what I would suggest that, please hear, Prabhupada's classes, right? And the first canto, whatever, he has given, right? And they are so clear, right? Yes, on our own, it is very difficult for us because we are not at that purity to really understand, the subtle aspects of, Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? Yes, we can take shelter of Prabhupada, his Bani, his classes, they are so crystal clear. But then, yes, maybe Lord willing, we'll do something. But then we should not wait for some situation to be favorable to start something, right? Yes, time is very short for us, right? And we have this 18,000 verses in Srimad Bhagavatam. Then we have Chaitanya Charitamrita, and we have so much to read, so much to hear, so much to discuss. Why should we really wait for something? Whatever is available, time and energy, we should not waste any time. Recently, I was hearing one of the very beautiful purports Srila Prabhupada had given. Who is a yogi? Prabhupada defends, I think day for yesterday we celebrated International Yoga Day, and Prabhupada describes who is a yogi, and Prabhupada says yogi means who doesn't waste any time. Right? All of us should be yogi. There is abhyartha kalatvam. We should not waste any moment of time. Right? Yes, we should do our responsibilities, household responsibility or professional responsibility, whatever it may be. But apart from that, how we should really go back, we, hear this example, just this young boy and girl, they always think of, each other, though they would be busy in so many things, but mind would be somewhere there. Similarly, a devotees, mood is that, okay, whatever they would be doing, but mind be always that, okay, now let me see, okay, now Lord has appeared, what is happening next, that inquisitiveness is there, that, okay, I want to hear, I want to read more and more. And not only I hear this verse, okay, what exactly Prabhupada is saying that in this verse, and how do you really apply this verse, in my life? That eagerness should be there, that enthusiasm should be there. That to read and hear more, to chant more. That is the essence of our life. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Prabhuji, I had a question on today's lecture. Prabhuji, like Lord Sri Krishna appeared and so many auspicious things happened. Similarly, in other forms also, like Lord Ram or other forms also, similar kind of situation happens, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes, yes. And like, especially it can relate to, Gauranga Mahaprabhu's pastime, right? He appeared, in the so-called Chandragrahana, in the lunar eclipse time, right? But at the same time also, right? Everywhere, there is a chanting of the holy name, without any differentiation of caste, creed, and religion. Everybody was chanting Hari, 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 right? And and of course, just like in a ball, right? Sometimes like that 2-watt bulbs or 5-watt bulb or 9-watt bulb or right, or 100-watt bulb is there, and like they wanted to manifest in different ways, or like in the moon also. Sometimes the moon manifests in a Pratipada or Ditya or Panchami or Ashtami or Dasami or Purnami. Similarly, the Lord appears, but depending on the circumstances or the audience, right, he manifests in a certain way. But then when Krishna appears, he's a Purna Purushottama. He is a Lila Purushottama. Like he is, is the supreme. That's why it's Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. That's what we hear, right? He is the he's avatari, he's the source of all the avatars, right? Once he comes out, he shows all the features. Because yes, different avatars comes at different point of time, they showcase certain aspect of it, either a Maryada aspect of it, or Audarya aspect of it, or the strength aspect of it, or to establish dharma, or to extend some love, right? But then when Lord Krishna appears, he brings all the aspects.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you very much. I'd really like to thank everybody, but because of you, we are able to have some program. So I'm really grateful to you for giving us an opportunity to serve you in sharing these pastimes of Lord Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.